Eastern Europe, from a little town. It's Hell.
You're a Chalimer.
That's right. I had Eastern Europe, from a little town. It's Hell.
You're a Chalimer.
That's right. I had 4 brothers and a sister. My father was a spiritual man,
Was a rabbi.
a high educated man, and Jewish theology. At the early years, at youth, we was have a good up. My parents had in partnership with another man a store we sell to the peasants clothing. And this was good years until 1929, when it happened in the United States, the
Depression.
how do you call it?
The Depression, yeah.
The Depression. So it dragged on Poland too. And the people whom we gave on credit didn't pay us the bills, and we had to close the store. And then it started, how Joseph said, the seven hunger years. we couldn't get back on the feet. So we had a relative in the United States who sent us $300 to open another store. And we put it off, my father put it off for a few months later, and during the time he borrowed the money to another man which did not pay it back. And so it dragged on. So I had an educated brother. He got married to another town, and he opened himself a yard goods store.
What's your brother's name? And your father's name, too.
My father was Chaim. My mother was Malka. My sister's name was Sheva. My oldest brother was Samuel Zangwil. Myself, Harry, or Herschel. The younger brother was Abraham Joshua, and the youngest one is Leo, which is here in the United States in Baltimore, Maryland. We two survived the Holocaust.
Just that the whole family, just the two?
No, the rest of us perished. During that time, I wanted to go to emigrate from Poland. Couldn't get no work. I couldn't get no immigration visas, so I went to a kibbutz in order to go to Palestine.
Kibbutz in Poland?
In a kibbutz in Poland. At that time, when I went to the kibbutz, the English allowed 50,000 entries to Palestine. When I was ready, when they wanted to send me to Palestine, the English cut out the entry visas. Instead 50,000, they gave less than 5,000. So I couldn't get one. My brother married to another town, and he had a little yard goods store, and he had a child, and they was halfway okay. And everything dragged on until 1939, when Hitler when he marched into Poland, and everything changed. I myself had decided not to stay with Hitler, not to stay with the Nazis. So I ran to when the Nazi artillery shot into our town. So I ran out from the house and I crossed the river and I ran to the other town where my brother lived. There was the border between Russia and Germany. They made a border line. They divided Poland. Afterwards, my youngest brother came along, and we both while the Germans and the Poles, it took them 2 weeks, while they was fighting, we had a problem what to do, to run to the shelters together. If you run together and there is a direct hit, everybody gets killed. If you run in separate shelters, so if there is a direct hit, one is saved and the other one is killed. So we decided to go to run in different shelters. If one gets killed, the other one stays alive. Anyway, when we was in this town under the Russians want us to go deeper into Russia. They did not allow to stay in the border towns. So myself and my brother,
this is Leo, right?
Yeah.
Leo,
Uncle Leo.
we went to, they sent us to a Ukraine town. They give us work. They taught us to be, what is this? They took us to a mechaniczny завод, a mechanical factory. They taught us to be turners. And they paid us the amount not to die and not to stay alive, 7 rubles a day. But we do not blame the Russians, because this is the way they had nothing and they give us what they had.
So 7 rubles? So how much is like a loaf of bread?
7 rubles? No. On the official market, 7 rubles was 80 cents cost us the daily bread wage.
Okay. So this is like enough bread for a week, 7 rubles.
7 rubles a day.
Oh, okay.
And but I worked 6 days a week, so we almost made it. And I had to, and this lasted until 1941, when the Germans started to fight the Russians. Then the Russians asked me to go to another town, and they want us to go to the Russian army, which we did. We walked over to the main town there, to the town of Sum. We came to the woods. They showed us a rifle. They took that rifle apart and put it together, and they showed us a grenade, how to throw it. And they put us on a train to go to the front line.
So you're going to be in the army?
Yeah. And while we came to the front line, the Germans managed to beat the Russians, and we had to run away. So I started to run. I ran 29 days. And wherever I came, the Germans were in front of me. But luckily, they went only with the highways, with the throughways. and we ran with the sideways. While we was there, we was beaten by the Germans, the Russians did not trust us and the regular army. They took us to work to help the army. So I always find myself 10 kilometers from the front line. We made ready the front line, which is always at that year, always stepped back. So we stepped back 10 kilometers and made ready for the Russian front line to get in. Until we ran through the Ukraine, towns of Kiev, Poltava, Kharkov, is the big towns, and we came to the Donsky Kozaki, until Stalingrad. I worked in Stalingrad for the Russians. They treat you like a human being, but like I said, they had very little, they gave us very little. But we managed to stay alive. Yeah, I forgot to say, they took me to the army, but my brother was too young.
How old
so
was
they evacuated him to Siberia.
How old were you?
It was in 39. I was 26, and Leo was 14.
So when you ran into Russia, you and Leo went together, or Leo went separate? Oh, you went together, but
we went together. But in 41, they separated us. He evacuated himself to Siberia, and I went to the army. Then I was very much hurt. I burned with hate to the Nazis. So I 3 times wrote letters to the high command of my group. They shall send me to the front line. Until 1943, almost nobody from the Russian soldiers came back from the front line, because this was a sure death. I begged them, they shall send me to the army. 3 times I wrote letters and they answered, when they'll need me, they'll take me, and they did not took me on the front. But I always was near the front. I did it because we both, the Russians and myself, we both fought the same enemy. And in 43, when I was in Stalingrad. In 43, I was in Stalingrad when the Germans came in to town. They captured the railroad station, and I was at the Volga, which is 3 miles apart. And we made ready for the defense of Stalingrad. But the last days they made us to sleep on the left side of the Volga River, and I came over early in the morning with a boat to Stalingrad and to do the work of defending Stalingrad. With the last boat, I had to go back to on the left side of the Volga River, because there always was German airplanes, the Messerschmitts, which any any Russian plane picked up themselves, they shot them down.
So any Russian plane?
Any Russian plane picked up themselves, the Nazis, Messerschmitts, shot them down. They also drowned the boats on the Volga River. But the Russians brought over the fresh army from Siberia under General Zhukov, and they beat the Nazis. And on the second day, while the beaten German army still was in Stalingrad, we came back to town. There was plenty deaths, there was no water to drink, everything was contaminated, right. And so we started to build up back Stalingrad. At that time I worked very hard, and there was no place where to sleep, nothing, because Stalingrad was burned. All the buildings was knocked down, destroyed. That time, this is an episode. I found a boy from Poland. He was an electrician, and he told me, he saw that I'm working very hard, that I was very much down. So he told me, you know what, you are an electrician. He talked to me. So come work with me and you'll be okay. So I said, I never worked as an electrician. He said, you do, you can.
That's why I'm an electrician now.
What?
That's why I became electronics from the start.
Oh. So he went to the engineer and he told him that he found another electrician. There was 4 and I will be the 5th one, and they need a 5th one. So I started to work as an electrician. And as an electrician, I got a better ration, and I didn't have to work hard, and it was a little bit better. But he demanded from me another thing, which I could not refuse. He wanted me, I shall take some electrical material and go on the black market, sell it, and bring back morning. For this morning we shall buy food and we'll eat all 5. I had no choice, and I did it.
Didn't you also sell vodka with him? Or?
Until they did not give me money. If I sold things, they paid me with vodka. And then
You know vodka?
the Russian soldiers found me with vodka on the black market. They arrested me and they took me to the commander. At the time I had 4 bottles of whiskey with me. So they brought me to the commander and they left. When they left, the commander said, "What you did there?" So I told him the truth, what I did. "Where's the vodka?" So I put away the 4 bottles of vodka. So the commander went on one side of that room, and I walked out without the vodka the other side of that room. I guess he specially did it. He pretended he don't see me walking out, so he could have the 4 bottles of vodka. Another episode, once I was sick there, I couldn't walk to work. It was on the left side of the Volga River, near Stalingrad. Couldn't work. my group went to work with the political commandeer. And during the day, I went on the field and I picked some tomatoes, which was left over. It was in September or in October already. And I picked a few tomatoes, I found a few carrots. And while I walked back, some Russian soldiers found me picking some tomatoes, and they arrested me. And at that time, my group came back from work, and my commanders saw what happens. So he made the whole group shall mix in with the soldiers and me to save me from the soldiers, and we shall go back all together home. But the soldiers started to shoot on the air, and he had no choice and gave me back to the soldiers. They arrested me. I was there overnight. There was a lot of people arrested. And again, same commander asked me, what were you doing? So I told him, after the Russians picked the tomatoes, it was left over in the field, a tomato here and a tomato there. I saw no reason why I cannot pick up that tomato when I am hungry. So he told me, good boy, and sent me back to my command. Another episode, I remind myself, I ran 29 days from Kiev until to the Don, to Donsky Kozaki.
The river.
Till to the Don River. There, the Don Cossacks live on the Don, on the banks of the Don River. I wanted to say I forgot that episode. Very nice.
About the sickness.
Well, no. While I was running, you cannot run 29 days. So you rest 2 hours here, 2 hours there. Catch a snap and you go again. So while I was running, I came into a home in a farm, and I told the lady, it was 7 o'clock, I'll go to sleep until 11. At 11 o'clock, wake me up and I'll run again. But she said she has no food to give me, and she told me where to go and get some chickens from a farm, from a government farm. So I get a chicken and some potatoes and I brought it to her. She cooked it, she gave me food, and I lie down to sleep. There was another man with me, so I told him, we both made up at 11 o'clock at night, we shall start to run further. The lady woke me up 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you don't want me to talk.
No.
The lady woke me up at 11 o'clock. The other man is not there. I asked her where the other man is. She said, he's gone at 9 o'clock. Means he didn't.
2 hours earlier.
He was jealous that we both will be safe. So he wanted just to save himself. Anyway, I ran out from the house, and it was the front line, and 2 Russian soldiers caught me at the point, how you call it?
Gunpoint. With the rifle.
With a rifle.
With the bayonet, the knife on
With the
it?
bayonets, right. 2 Russian soldiers caught me with the bayonets, and they called some more help. They thought they got a German spy. And they took me to the commandant too. and they start to talk to me that I am a German spy. I said I'm running from the Germans like hell. So they told me where I was. I told them where I worked, and there was a man from that little town where I worked from 39 till 41.
Mm-hmm.
And he started to talk to me, and they believed me, but they still didn't believe me. They did and they didn't. This late night, they left the town for the Germans, and they won. And they did not allow me to run. They left me for the Germans. But I wanted very much to run away from them. With the last truck, the commander went with the last truck. So I went in front of that truck, and I said to the commander, run me over, but I am not going away if you don't take me on the truck. So he told me, jump on. So I jumped on the truck, and he gave me 50 kilometers front. So I was away from the Germans. This was a side episode, how it happens. It was another episode. I came while I was running these 29 days, I came to a little place. There was, in the back there was the Germans, and to right and the left was the Germans. Out front there was a little bridge. You had to cross that bridge, and there was in front of that bridge a small town, and the Germans let down, how do you call it, parachutist, and the sides of that town, which they shot into that town with artillery. So I met a man from my hometown with a horse and buggy. I started to talk to him. There was no time to talk. I tell him, let's go. And I'm sitting, I'm going up on that buggy. Let's go together on the Russian side, father. So he did not want it. He said he's tired of running, and he went back to the German side. And I went. Well, in Stalingrad I had okay, halfway, except we had a commander, and that commander promised us that one day they'll give us a sabbatnik, a Sunday off, and we'll be able to shower. Not a shower, banya. Banya is
We go in the river?
not in a river, it's cold.
Take a shower, you know.
A banya is called a sauna.
A sauna.
You know, a sauna, there is in a little room, you have a lot of stones, and when you heat up the stones, and you pull water.
Yeah.
But they kept on promising, and we never had that Sunday to be able to wash.
Not one Sunday.
One Saturday night he came in and told us that this Sunday of sure we will be able to wash ourselves, to wash the shirt, whatever we had. Sunday morning he came in and he said, "You lucky you. The government allowed him, we shall work this Sunday for nothing, and we should be proud that we'll be very much help in fight against the Nazis." So we had nothing about it. But the last year and a half was very bad in Moscow. From Stalingrad they sent us to Moscow. Moscow, we did not belong no more to the army. We belonged to some kind of working group. I worked. They give us a ration, but when you work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, is it not much, that small waste. So it was a hard time. But in order to find something else, I worked, let's say, from 6 o'clock in the evening till 6 o'clock in the morning. Instead to go in the barracks and sleep over the other 12 hours, so we went to town in Moscow to find some work. They shall pay you with food. Once I got myself in a bread factory, and soon we came in, we started to eat bread. I don't know how much, we never stopped until we left. Once I got up in the morning, when I came home from work in the morning, I jumped to a bus, to a tramway, you call it. Tramway, right?
Yeah.
And
like a cable car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A tramway in Moscow, and I was looking for somewhere to work. But I saw around 50 yards from me, from the cable car, I saw a horse and buggy with bread. They divided the bread to the stores, which gave out the bread on the
House.
what is it? Stamps, on the bread stamps. And I saw the bread fall down, 2 kilo bread fall down from that buggy. And there was a lively morning, and so many people was there. But I saw that bread, I jumped out from that rail car, and I ran over there, but I couldn't take the bread. While they still was there, they'll take it away from me, so I was waiting. When they drove away, I took the bread, and I'm telling you, there were so many people, a lively morning, everybody, and nobody saw the bread except myself.
And you ate it all on the way home, right?
And I took the bread to the... So I saw another cable car going back, so I jumped in, but I couldn't resist to wait with that bread to eat it home. I sat down on that cable car while going back home, and I ate it up all, of course. And I was the same hungry. Didn't help. Another episode, it was I worked very hard in Moscow. So I said, if I'll get sick, I thought, if I'll get sick, they'll take me to a hospital. At least I'll have some kind of ration, but I wouldn't have to work so hard. The same night, I lay down to sleep at night, and I thought if I could get sick, then next day I went to work from 6 in the evening till 6 in the morning at a lumber yard. And I went on a small way. What is it? I don't know how you call it.
A railroad
track.
track.
A wagon.
Oh. A horse and buggy.
On a narrow tracks, there is a wagon which you take the. You talk. You take it. And anyway, I had to roll around that wagon, and I broke my foot same day.
Wasn't this when you were trying to break your foot, or?
I did not try it, but it happened. You see, wartime, there is a wheel which has to be...
to turn around the wagon.
Turn around the wagon, that's right. Yeah. And that wheel has to be closed. But during the war, who cares? And it was open, and it was 12 at night, it was dark.
And you just fell inside.
And I broke my foot, and they took me to hospital.
Just like you were thinking. Huh?
It was at the end of December 44, and I never worked again there until the end of the war, May the 8th, 45. May the 8th, 45, they tell me where you want to go. They didn't need me anymore. They took around 70 people like myself, sick ones. So I said I want to go to my hometown.
Hello.
In Poland.
They couldn't send me to my hometown. So I picked a town near the border. And I went there, and from there I crossed and I get to Poland, and from Poland to Germany.
Did you ever meet Leo in Russia again after Siberia?
No, in Germany, the Jewish community in Germany, at that time I was the 149th person. They thought there is no more Jews, actually.
So you're the
But this
149th
was
Jew? They were counting how
149
many
Jews.
survived?
That's right.
And there were, what, 10 million in Europe? Or?
It's from the 6 million. No, there was more than 6 million.
Yeah, there was.
But 6 million was
Killed.
perished. But there was, this was in the American zone. They divided on 4 zones, Germany.
Mm.
In the English zone, my brother Leo was. And they picked that list of 149 people who are in the American zone. And he wrote that he read my name.
Oh, he was looking for you.
Yeah. And another thing is,
So how many years is this?
we wrote,
And they divided.
we remembered the address from our cousins in Baltimore, Maryland. So I wrote her a postcard that I am alive in case somebody of my relatives is alive.
You should tell him, yeah.
But this was later. This was
We
Leo
shall-
find you when
we
he
shall
was
communicate.
married already.
And he wrote a letter to her. So she sent me his card and
She sent Leo.
she sent him my card. And soon he came over, and so we were united.
So he was almost 20, right?
No, you see,
He was born 1924, and this was in
He was 21
45.
already. Yeah.
He was 21
So he was
years
7
old.
years from 14 to
7.
21 in Siberia.
you
Well,
see,
he was in Siberia 2 years, Uncle Leo. From there, he evacuated. He changed to Middle Asia, to the warm climate.
Mm.
He went to Tashkent. He also was a
Tashkent.
very honest worker. He, like I told you, myself, we fought the same enemy. In Siberia, Leo lived there in a corner from a room with another boy. There, the kolkhoz, you know what a kolkhoz is, no?
Kolkhoz, this is a place.
Go on, yeah.
Collective, a government farm. The farm is owned by the government. If you work, you get a certain percentage out of that, of the food, which
Oh, it's like a collective, yeah.
is what I say,
Yeah,
a collective.
Like a kibbutz.
Like a kibbutz.
So if you worked in that farm, they gave you 800 gram bread. If you didn't, they gave you 300 gram bread, which is a very small piece. So he went to work and he got 800 gram bread, and while he was at work, they gave you a soup. The other fellow said, for just a little piece of bread I shall go to work. So he didn't. So he swallowed to death and he died. And Leo kept on because we knew that we have to go through, and if the war will come to an end, nothing matters. The same thing he did when he went to Middle Asia, to Tashkent. Why should I talk about Leo? I have to talk about myself.
Talk about yourself. I just wanted to know what happened. I know you got separated and I guess you found yourself.
Well, I wanted to go to Israel. When Leo came to Munich, so we was together, and at the end of 45, I met my wife. I met Golde, and she was a Hitler survivor. She did not run to Russia. She had the worst part of it, because she did not have the Germans and she did not have the Russians, and she had to find a piece of bread by herself in the middle of the night. It was another terrible thing. I met my wife. I met Goldie in the end of 45, and February 46 we got married.
The 2046 we got married.
In Munich, Germany.
Is that right? In Munich. Mommy says that you were playing cards when you met. You were a little.
I couldn't stand myself. I was mad with myself why
you survived?
I survived and 6 million did not. Why was I picked to survive? So I started to drink homemade whiskey by the glass, and I was a drunk. I became a drunk.
Drunken.
But they came people and they calmed us down. It came from the United States, came two writers, Sheen Leivik and Efrod, and they talked to us.
Jewish writers?
Yeah.
Where we got married.
Jewish writers. The Leivik was one of the best, of the best of writers, Jewish writers. They talked to us like the little children. Okay.
You can stop for a few seconds.
Stop. Okay, we're ready?
Well, actually, the Poles were very good to discriminate against other nationalities who were living in Poland, against the Belarusians, the Ukrainians, and of course the Jews, even the Germans. But when it came to fight, when the Germans marched into Poland, the first day they lost the war against the Germans. It took pockets to finish. It took the Germans 2 weeks, because only Warsaw, the capital, put up a big fight. But all the rest of the country threw away the arms and did not fight even. The Germans came into Poland in September 1,
Of what year?
1939. And September 9, the Russians was in our town because the Russians cheated the Americans by telling, not just the Americans, the West, the Americans and the English, by working with them against the Germans, but actually they went to Germany and they made a pact with them to divide Poland and Europe between themselves. So the Russians took half of Poland and the Germans took the other half. My hometown was on the borderline, but the Germans took it. It was on their head. The Russians came into our town and there was 11 days. And during that time, and they said, whoever wants to go to Russia can go. They permitted to go. So whoever was able or whoever wanted to, because most of the people did not believe that the Germans will be as barbaric as they were. But myself picked up myself and went across the river, and within 20 miles left my brother and his wife and a child, and I came there.
What happened to your brother, his wife, and his child?
This is the brother in the picture here?
Yeah.
Here, I'll
My brother and his wife and his child.
You don't have that picture?
There was two brothers. There was two wars. The war from 39 and the war from 41. In 41, the Germans came in, the Germans marched on Russia, and they came into that little town, and sure, on their march they killed whomever they wanted to.
What's your brother's name?
My brother Samuel Zangrel, and his wife and child
What was his
perished.
wife's name?
I don't remember.
And they died where? Because they stayed in their town?
They died because they stayed in their town, right. My brother actually wanted, here comes a financial side of the story. My brother's father-in-law was a rich man. He had a lot of forecourts for the farmers. This is, I don't know how to tell you, this is not this is plain coats what you put on to work.
It's a what?
Lamb or the plain coats.
What's the skin from the cow?
I don't
The
know.
skin, the hide? Skin from the cow?
Yeah,
The hide?
yeah. But not from the cow, from the
Sheep?
sheep or something, yeah. This, the fur you wear on top and the skin underneath.
Okay.
He sold this and he was very rich. My brother wanted to go farther to Russia with his wife and child, but his father-in-law thought that money can buy everything, and he wanted his daughter shall stay with him. And after, when the Germans came in, they started to fight Russia. In 41, they perished.
So your father was alive at the time also, right?
No, my father died in 38.
He died in 38? From
Yes.
the Germans or from natural?
No. He was sick and he died in 38, and he was lucky he did not get killed from the Germans.
Can you put it to that class?
Oh.
Yeah. What? Here's a picture of your dad. What did he do? Wasn't he?
My
I
father
remember he
was a scholar. He was a very. He was a member of the. No, Gemeine, I don't know. There was like it is a. What is Mayor Koch? What
a
is
mayor.
he? Mayor of what?
New York, a
Of
city.
the city council.
Uh-huh.
In Poland, Jewish communities had their own city council.
Mm-hmm.
He was a member of that city council for a certain amount of years.
Yeah.
He was very educated in theology. He taught in a seminar, yeshiva you call it.
Yeah. You can use words like yeshiva.
What?
Sure, yeshiva.
Yeshiva. He taught in a yeshiva. He was the secretary from that yeshiva.
There's a yeshiva of Chelm.
Yeshiva of Chelm, right? He was well off until 29. I repeat myself
Why?
because I told already that story. Well, I'll make it brief. He had with a partner yard good business until 39 when it came the crash in the United States.
Oh yeah.
This was in 29, the depression.
I said the 29,
Yeah.
the depression. So it came to our town and we lost the business. Since then we couldn't jump up again.
Yeah. So tell me about Chelm. You know, and
Chelm was
everybody knows about Chelm from the stories of
Chelm
Chelm.
was a nice Jewish town.
How
It
big?
was-
How many people lived there?
It was 36,000 population. Of this was 18,000 Jews. A half of that was Jews,
Yeah.
and a half non-Jews. The Jews usually, like in all other Polish towns, lived in the center of the town, and the Poles surrounded
Mm-hmm.
in the surroundings. But there was no ghetto in Poland.
Why did the Poles
Go ahead.
live on the outskirts of the town?
Because it was more, the Poles, it was more comfortable for them. They had ground, they could,
Oh, so the Jews had no ground. What did the Jews do for a living then?
who, the Poles?
The
No,
Jews.
the Jews.
The Jews, they had no other choice than to have stores. Stores. If you had a 10-pound flour and a small barrel of herring, it was a business.
It was a store.
This was a store.
Mm-hmm.
But usually this is the way how the Jews, and there was a lot of, how you call it? Well, people make shoes or make tailors, shoemakers, cabinet makers.
Merchants.
Was it like
No, this is not merchants. You call them balmaluche, no?
I don't know, businessmen? I don't know. What do you mean?
People who work for a living, they, like
Yeah.
I tell you, not merchants, but the
The labor.
laborers, no. Trade,
Tradesmen.
Tradesmen.
Okay.
that's right.
So is in Chelm, you know, I know of, I don't know, is Chelm a shtetl? Like, is a small town?
You see, a shtetl in Russia was more or less a ghetto. This was not the case in Poland. There was no ghettos in Poland.
Okay.
You lived in the town, but you had no jobs. Most of the people lived if a relative in the United States sent you $1 or $2 in a letter, for $1 you could live a week with your family. And well, you worked a little. The Poles did not let you have jobs. They did not give you the civil jobs. You couldn't work for the government.
Had to work for yourself.
And you could not. The army didn't hire you. You had to find something for yourself, which Poland had no industry. So Poland actually had 3 classes. It was the farmers, who were very poor. They had about nothing. They had to sell their crop to get salt and kerosene. This was one class, a poor class. The other, the rich one, was the civil workers in the army, which pension the government paid. And the third class was the Jews, or you call them the so-called merchants. For example, our town from 18,000 was 500 shoemakers, 500 families of shoemakers. Why so many? Because nothing else to do.
So what is in Chelm? How is the religious life? I mean, tell me about.
The religious life was very much. You see, the Poles, the Jews in Poland, did not do like people I know in the United States. When they don't have much, they're taking a gun and killing somebody and taking. If a Jew in Poland had nothing to eat, so he went to the library and read a book. There was quite a lot of temples, no shulen.
Shulen, yeah.
Let me tell you a little story about, you see, there was a difference between the Lithuanian Jews and the Polish Jews. The Polish Jews believed in rabbis. A rabbi is a man whom you believe that he can bless you. It's not a rabbi from a shul. A rabbi but you actually believe. His father was a rabbi, he's a rabbi, his grandfather was a rabbi. And the Lithuanians were very, very religious people, Lithuanian Jews, but they did not believe in rabbis. The one thing, a Lithuanian Jew lived in a Polish town and he worked in that town. So there was a talk in that town that this rabbi who lived in this town is going to heavens every night, which the Lithuanian Jew did not believe. But so long that rumor persisted, the Lithuanian Jew said, I'll find out exactly and I'll blow him in the face, right? So what he did, he came in to the rabbi's bedroom when it was dark, before lighting the light, and he covered himself underneath the rabbi's bed and watched what the rabbi is doing all night, because they said the rabbi is going to have us every night. So he was watching. The rabbi came into his bedroom approximately 9 o'clock. He brought in water to be able to wash his hands, put on underneath the bed, and then he sat down and he studied for an hour until 10. 10, the rabbi went to bed. At 12, he got up because a Jew cries at 12 at the night for the destroying of the temple. You know, you call it sos. So he got up, he washed his hand, and he started to pray for the destruction of the temple. After he finished his praying, he took out from his closet a rope which the farmers, like a farmer, a rope like a farmer wears. He put it on. He put not a rope, I call it a long coat, like a farmer.
Yeah.
And he put around a rope around his waist, and then he took a hacksack, you call it, what you chop wood with it?
A hatchet?
Hatchet.
Yeah, a hatchet, and put it on the side between the rope and his coat, and he walked out from his house. It was the middle of the winter, very cold. So this one saw what the Rebbe is doing, so he walked behind him, but the Rebbe shall not know about it. The Rebbe shall not see him. And the Rebbe walked straight until out of town and walked into the woods. He put away his robe, his coat, and he chopped up a tree. He put pieces of wood on the rope. He put it on his shoulder, and he walked back to town. He came back to town, so he knew where a poor widow lives, sick. So he knocked on her window. He told her, what her name was, Rebecca, open the door. She said, who is it? He said, it's me, Stepan. I sold you eggs for Passover. What do you want? I have wood. I wanted to sell it in town, but I went to a bar and I couldn't sell it. Right now it's left over. So I want you to buy it from me. She said, I am poor, I have no money. He said, I'll believe you, I'll give you on credit whenever you wanted to give me back, to pay me, you'll pay me. I don't know you, you'll recognize me, you'll give me back. I can't get down because I am sick and it's cold in the house. He said, okay, I'll open the window. So the rabbi opened the window, through the window he opened the door, he put away the wood, he made a fire. He didn't leave that house until it was very warm. When it was warm, he said, Rebecca, good luck to you. You'll get out of that sickness, you'll stay healthy. And he walked on. Then this Lithuanian said, not only walks that rabbi to heavens, but even higher. This is the way how the old rabbis acted. Except the religious side, there was quite a few organizations. There was Zionist organizations, there was Bund, even communist, and all kinds of organizations. The Jews, by not having jobs or so on, did whatever they can to keep on, to stay alive, to keep on.
So tell me about I know your father wanted to come to the United States when he was in the 20s or the 30s.
My father's brother-in-law came to the United States in 1907. And his wife came a few years later.
So they worked, what they did is they worked and then they got enough money to bring their wives and their family.
And my father's brother-in-law worked. He brought up to the 4th and the 5th floor in New York ice or coal on the shoulders. this is the way how they made a living, and they saved to send to for fare for their family. In New York, there was a restaurant when if you bought for 5 cents a beer, they gave you soup. And so long you did not finish the beer, you could ask for a repeat. And this was his supper. He bought for 5 cents a beer, and he ate soup until he was full.
Yeah.
And with the money what he made, he saved for fare for his family. In 1920 came his family to the United States. And soon they came, they wanted my father to come over to
How
the
long did it
States.
take them to save money? How many years did he work?
From 1907 till 1920.
13 years?
Well, if you make 3 pennies a day, you spend it.
Yeah.
In the 20s, they asked my father to come over, and they sent him. How do you call it? They want him to come.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to the American consul to get a visa. He made a picture. What you see the picture now?
Yeah, we'll show this passport picture again.
And this is the Poles. The Poles did not let wear him a skull cap because he never was without a skull cap.
Yeah.
So he went to the consul.
So this is the only picture of him you told me. You don't have any other pictures.
No,
And Leo gave you this?
this no, here in the States I found it at my cousin.
Oh, your cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in 28 he got the visa to go to Israel, to go to the United States. And it was paid. The American relatives paid for his fare.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end he decided not to go because he did not want to leave his family, and also because he thought they said it's not kosher here. So he stayed in Poland, and after he lost his business and after the crash,
Mm-hmm.
and we couldn't get back up.
Did a lot of the Polish people from Chelm try to come to the United States or try to go to other European countries?
European countries didn't let you in because European countries you couldn't, and still even now you cannot become a citizen from France if you go to France.
Right.
You cannot become a citizen from Switzerland or so on.
So United States let in many more
United
people.
States discriminated against Eastern European people. They gave visas any amount you want to the Australians, to the Western Europeans, but not Eastern Europeans. But before World War I, during and after World War I, you could come into the States without a visa, or with a visa, but it was easy to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the reason the Eastern European Jews was able to come.
All right.
And well done in Poland was that Pilsudski. Pilsudski at the start when
Who was he?
Pilsudski was the half dictator of Poland. Before him was the president of Poland, a liberal Democrat, and you could live in Poland. Then that Pilsudski took over, he dissolved the parliament.
Mm-hmm.
He picked a parliament of his own people. It was half dictatorship. and they made a lot of taxes to pay, so that the secretary or minister of the taxes was a man by the name of Grabski, and it was a name for it, Grabski's wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Why was it Grabski's wagon? If you could not pay the taxes, the wagon came and took away everything what you own. And they gave out all kinds of taxes. Docherdove. Docherd means whatever you sold. Let's say if you did business $100 a day, you had to pay taxes for the amount of business you did. And then was a tax, no, docherdove was, obrotove was this tax. And docherdove was whatever you made out of this $100. And then they have a tax. If you live in one room, is one tax. If you live in 2 rooms, is more taxes. In 3 rooms, is a lot more taxes. So there was a saying that Pilsudski sent out, usually because the business was between the Jewish community, so they made all the time more taxes and taxes. And there was a saying that Pilsudski sent out people to find out how the Jews react. When they cried that there's a lot of taxes, he said, take more. But when people came back and they said that the Jews left them already, so he said, stop, no more taxes. Because they left, nothing to do. He took away everything, nothing to give. So what can he took?
Yeah.
So we left. And when you left, so he stopped. But
So what, how much school, did you go to school in Poland, or how long?
I myself, my father sent me to a religious school. I went to Cheder, Yeshiva, but never went to a how you call it, secular school.
Yeah.
Was the school in Chelm? Was the school in Chelm?
Yeah, everything in Chelm. In order to know Polish, my parents hired a teacher. I came home, I went to school from the morning till 9 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
But I had 2 hours lunch. In these 2 hours, they hired a girl who went to secular school, and she taught me Polish.
And how did you learn, like, arithmetic?
Well, this is what she taught me.
So she taught you all the secular studies from your 2 hours of lunch and the other hours
the
you
2 hours
studied
for lunch,
Torah.
which I didn't want to actually.
Right.
Most of the time I didn't want to. Well, I was tired, I was hungry.
Yeah, it's a lot of school.
And how many years did you go to school?
To school I went until 16 or so.
Mm-hmm. So that was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I know Mom went only to school much less, right?
What?
Mommy went to school only a couple of years, and you went to till 5th
Well,
grade.
she went to secular school, and I went to
because she was a woman. Oh. So the women in
From
the
our
girls
family,
in the,
from our family, only the youngest brother went to secular school.
Only Leo?
Leo, yeah.
Okay. And
Why
did he
was
also
that?
go to Cheder?
He also go, of course, he went to Cheder,
Yeah.
but he also went to the secular school. He had 8 grades when he left, when the war broke out in '39.
Mm-hmm.
And Leo went to Ukraine in school on the Ukraine.
Oh.
And he took up Russian there. And he was better on Russian than the Ukrainians. Yes, he was okay.
Okay.
Now ask something else.
Harry, tell me how many brothers and sisters you had.
Well, we were 4 brothers and 1 sister. My father was Chaim. My mother was Malka. My sister was Sheva. My oldest brother was Samuel Zangwell. Myself, Herschel. Then came Abraham Joshua, and next Leo.
So you go with Herschel or Tzvi? Or
Herschel.
oh, okay. Because also Tzvi, I see you.
Tzvi is in the Hebrew.
Okay. So how were you Murveit at the time, right? How do we get the name Murveit in the family?
I was Murveit.
Murveit.
M-U-R-F-E-I-T. But when I came in 45 to Germany, I came in an American camp. This German secretary asked me, "What's your name?" I said, Murveit. In Europe, they don't ask you to spell, because how you say how it sounds, this is the way it is. So the German language has a vowel.
And there's no vowel, it's a double, yeah.
Murveit, so she wrote down with a vowel. And the vowel is English V.
So what, but I thought you told me that originally it was something to do with not being in the Polish army, or there's some story.
Well, this goes back to my grandfather.
Yeah.
Which it was very hard for Jews to be in the Russian army.
In the Russian army?
At the Tsar, the Russian army. So they did everything what's possible not to go to the Russian army, because you suffered very much.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a book, if you read Jewish classic literature, you'll find out that they took a Jew and they wanted to punish him. So they took a boat, mm-hmm. a narrow and long boat, and they put soldiers, Russian soldiers, on both sides of that boat, and they made a Jewish soldier, he shall run on the boat, not off, but on the boat. And while he was running on the boat, they had the nagaikis and they hit him. So there is a story that the Jewish soldier wear a skull cap. While they was hitting him, he lost his skull cap. So instead of run straight down, he ran back to pick up his skull cap.
So anyway, so what was the name before Murveit? Before Murveit?
Cooper.
Cooper.
My grandfather's name was Cooper. But the Russians had a law. If you had only one son, and you could show that this son helps you and supplying you with food, helps you for a living, they didn't took you to the army. So everybody tried, if there was people who had no children, you add on yourself to that family adopted you.
Oh.
So and that name sticked with you. So it was a French family, by the name of Murveit is a French name.
Is that right?
And this family adopted my grandfather. So and
that's how it became
interesting. My father signed his name Chazak.
No.
You know Chazak. Why Chazak? Chaim. His father was Zangwell, and the last name was Cooper. Ches Zayin Kiv, which is Chazak. Chaim Zangwell Cooper.
All right.
So what happened to your brothers and sister
When the
during
Germans came into our town, we had a dilemma what to do, how to save ourselves. Before they came in, the artillery, they shot in with artillery in our town. So we had to run to shelters.
But didn't you tell me before that the Russians warned you and they gave you the opportunity to leave before the
This
Germans
was when the
came?
Russians came in, but before they came in. Before the Russians came in, when the Germans wasn't yet, it still was Poland. At that time we had a dilemma how to save ourselves, or together and to live together or die together, or each shall run separately. If one is saved, if one died, the other one is saved. So everybody picked his choice, to go together or to a shelter or run separately. We did not get hit by before the Germans came in. And next morning we saw that the Russian army came in from all sides. On each street you saw the Russian tanks. They came in, we was very happy, at least no Germans. And then the Poles killed a Russian soldier. And they made a tomb in the middle of town, the Russians. And they said that we are 200 million человек, 200 million people. And they can get everybody. They are not afraid for the few Poles, because the Poles were against the Russians. They gladly went with the Germans against the Russians. When they came, they was in our town 9 days, and they said, whoever wants to go over to the other side, to them, you could take a train, or there was no trains, but you could go there, because it was a border town. So for myself, I walked over, I said that I am going there. I want to listen what they say. Anyway, they didn't answer. I walked over there. In a couple of days, Leo came over there, and the rest stayed with the Germans.
But you never
My
heard.
mother came in a few days later, but because of the brother didn't want to go, she went back to the Germans to help my brother.
And no one else went with you?
No one else? What do you mean?
Your sister and your other brother?
No one else. Well, everybody one there was a. When you came to these border towns, there was so many people. Another thing I want to tell you. You see, there is a lot of our people. I say our people. I mean Holocaust people here in the United States. I want you to know that 8 out of every 10 who came over here after World War II, saved from Europe, are from Russia. Maybe 9 out of 10. Because very few saved themselves while they were under Nazi occupation. I would say that 95% from the Jews who ran to Russia came back, and 95% who stayed under Germany got perished. Goldie had voice than everybody else, because she was not under the Germans, not under the Russians. She had a business, and she succeeded in the war, because in the war, whatever you had, you could sell for 100 times as much. she had her store under the Germans until 42, when the Germans came and they didn't ask her nothing. They didn't see her even. She was across the street. They saw over they broke the door and they took out everything. She paid a Russian woman money. And the Russian woman, for her money, built herself a home, and not a Russian,
Polish
a
woman.
Polish woman, and she built herself a home, a one room, a big room, but a home, and what else? And a place for the cattle, how you call it?
The barn.
A barn. And underneath the barn,
Underneath the kitchen.
Underneath the kitchen, she built it for herself a piece of a cave,
And that's where she stayed during the war.
where she stayed 17 months.
Mm.
Plus, given this, she'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll interview Mommy.
Huh?
Yeah, let's have Mommy tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will tell this
Why
story
don't you?
better.
Why don't we talk about when you went after the war to Germany and how you met Golda?
After the war, well, let's start with in May the 8th, 45.
Okay.
I was in Moscow.
And that's the day the war ended, May the 8th.
The day when the war ended, I worked on coaches, and the Russians didn't need me anymore. I couldn't help them, so I was hard on them now. They had to give me food for nothing. So they tell me I can go, and I picked. They did not let me go to my hometown, so I went to a border town with the name of Baranovich.
Baranovich was in Russia still?
Yeah, now it's still in Russia, of course.
At the time, it was, yeah.
Uh,
Because they wouldn't let you go to your hometown because it was in Poland.
because it was in Poland. But they had an agreement, whoever lived in the Polish part which they occupied, this can go back to Poland. So I made myself an illegal document that I lived in that town, and I crossed over to Poland.
Mm-hmm.
I crossed through Bialystok, Warsaw, Lodz. I came to Lodz. I still was in a military uniform, which the Jewish committee gave me a regular clothing instead of uniform. And because I couldn't walk too good, still was, so I went to a Zionist committee was already there, and they sent me to Palestine to the Jewish brigade. So we had to cross there's another thing, the Czech border. So at that time they told us the Poles did not let you go out of Poland.
Mm-hmm.
So I told them that I am a Greek and I'm going back to Greece.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a story. The Poles recognized, but officially they didn't, but they was glad you go away, you go out of Poland. So we came to Prague, the capital of Czechoslovakia.
Mm-hmm.
We came into the American Joint Distribution Committee. They had I committed there.
Mm-hmm.
I registered myself. So the secretary asked me the name, so I told her the Greek name. And I don't understand Yiddish, I don't understand Polish, yes. Greek. Speak Greek. And
Luckily nobody talked Greek
because
there.
we was afraid. This is the way how they told us to.
Mm-hmm.
So she asked her name, and then she couldn't make out nothing. So she asked the director there, what shall she do? So she said like this. The director told her like this. Write down a name. He is a Greek, a Polish Jew who goes to Palestine. And this is the way how he explained to her. And I wasn't the only one there.
But he let you through.
Of course.
So are any of these pictures from this time?
I have no pictures from that time.
Well, there's some pictures here from Germany, right?
From Germany, yeah.
So we could, which ones? See what you looked like in those days.
Hyman, my eyes don't work. This was in Germany. This was in Germany, but this was already.
Okay, can you hold it the
was
other way?
okay at that time.
Let's see, which is that picture? Oh, you're gonna have to hold it the other way.
Well, he's trying to recognize them.
This one was. This one lived through the war in the woods.
This is in Germany now, right after the war
He
in
is
46.
right now.
46.
He lives in He lived in Germany in 46, 45, and when I left Germany for Italy, he still was in Germany with his wife, which
This
this
is
is his wife.
What are their names?
He is named Mordechai, and her name is Dora.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not relatives. They were
No.
friends.
No, they got married. They're not my relatives, but very good friends.
Yeah, we
And
ate together.
after we came to the United States, we was looking for them. I couldn't find them. I didn't know where they are.
And that's
Because
you.
they went to Toronto.
And that's you, and that's mommy on the lower right.
A friend also.
I'm saying, but this is you, mom,
Yeah.
and that's you, dad.
Yeah.
And who's this?
And this is
A
a friend of them.
Oh.
There's a friend.
And so this is you two. Oh, not there. That's you two. Right
In
after-
46, in
This is
46.
when we got married.
Right
In
there.
Munich?
In 46.
In Munich?
Yeah.
In
Tell us
Munich.
about
We got
how-
married in Munich in 1946.
In the
In a
20th of
little
February.
town near Munich by the name of
Wolfratshausen.
Wolfertshausen, right?
Is that right? And there's one more picture, huh?
Yeah.
What?
This is also in Germany, Meyer. You know
Oh,
Meyer?
this is Meyer Ackermann.
Meyer
Oh,
this is-
Ackermann, he came to Germany.
Which one is Mayor?
Meyer is
Right here?
in the left.
Oh, that's Mayor, and it's you on the right, right?
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
That's Mayor. That's
This
right.
is Mayor.
Yeah, and this
Up,
is
up.
But you have to have
Yeah,
this.
yeah. This is Meyer.
this is Meyer, and this is Chaim,
This is who?
This is relatives.
relatives.
But
This-
this is Mayor.
This is Meyer.
And who's this?
This is his wife. This is
This
Malkele.
is Golden,
No.
No,
This
Golden.
is Golda.
Golden Herschel,
But who's this?
Chaim,
Oh, this is Meyer's nephew.
a brother's son.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this nephew.
You see, I gave him
This
a watch.
this nephew
Was
And-
Golda saved him.
and Goldele, they lived in Warsaw on Polish documents.
Papers,
Yeah.
Polish papers. Not they. Goldele lived in
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goldele lived in Warsaw as Hrabina.
Helena Wiśniewska.
Hrabina Helena Wiśniewska, very
Mhm.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
And she had in her house
A
Na-
bunker.
She had in her a hiding place where she hid Jews,
Yeah.
and she had to find for them food. And anyway, they all got killed except her nephew, this one.
You mean the people she was hiding
Yeah.
got
Because
killed?
they went
Yeah.
out for
They
food.
got killed during the
Oh yeah, but the Oststand from ghetto.
not the ghetto. She didn't live in ghetto.
No.
At the you see the Warsaw people in 1944 made a revolution against the Germans.
Yeah, the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising.
Not the Warsaw ghetto,
No.
the Warsaw population, the
Polish
Poles,
army.
Mm-hmm.
the Poles, and then the Germans killed all of them, the Poles, and these people got killed. But
was
Goldele
also
and that little boy saved themselves, and now they live in Toronto, in Montreal.
Okay, that's right. So here you're shoveling snow. What are you doing here?
I'm shoveling
In
snow.
this picture, in the snow, you were cutting down wood or something? You were a lumberjack?
Yeah, I worked with the American Army, like letting down trees
Yeah, in Germany?
in Germany,
Uh-huh.
because except this ration what the German Army, what I could get from the German Army, I didn't want to go to on a black market, so they paid me some
And there you
for
are.
work.
Yeah. Okay.
And I stayed in Germany until the end of 46. Wait a second.
In 46 we got married.
Wait a second. And the end of no.
Yeah, the end of 46 we went to Italy.
Well, when I came to Munich in 45, and we went they put us to a camp, and that camp was
Wow.
people, the ages between 20 and 40.
Yeah.
It was no,
Yeah. Go on, just look
it was no younger than 20 and not older than 40,
Mm-hmm.
because the younger or the older ones,
God bless you.
the Germans
What
killed
happened?
or couldn't make it through the hard
Als
work.
ik Borbis.
Couldn't make it through the hard work.
Yeah.
And these ones, we couldn't make it in camp too, so most of us started to drink the homemade whiskey
Mm-hmm.
until the Jewish brigade gave us moral help. Not only the Jewish brigade, but it came people from all over to pick our spirit. It came the chief rabbi from Palestine, Rav Herzog. It came Leivik, came Ephraim. That Leivik started a speech. I am standing for you, you saints. Something like this. He talked to us and talked us out a little bit.
Yeah.
We got relieved a little bit.
Get your spirits back.
Yeah, picked up spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we lived there, and I met my wife Golda there while I was drunk. And we played in cards, and I said that she cheated me. She took my money
I
away,
stole away his money.
and we got married.
That's a
I
nice-
stole away his money.
It's a nice way to meet. Huh?
And we hired a rabbi, and well, She made the wedding
You
herself.
see, I have
We
to,
invited a few people, and well, this was the wedding.
Who
I-
came to the wedding?
I have to, you see, 4 weeks took, and the rabbi make oh, that's me, I thought that.
Harwick.
The rabbi have to investigate if my husband died, if
Oh.
he's not alive,
Because you were married.
and yeah, I had a child.
She had a
My
6-year-old child.
My child saved me. When not my child, I wouldn't be here. And he was a boy, you know, a single
I was
fella.
single.
If he never married, you understand?
Mhm.
And this investigation went through, you know, because I had to show people who knows me, you know,
Witnesses that
And
her
he had-
husband is
and
dead.
He had some witnesses,
Mhm.
also people, and we got married. We got married in Jewish, you know, the wedding, and after we went to...
We went to this little town near Munich by the name of Wolfratshausen.
And I have still the paper from Wolfratshausen.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you should show. And it's February 20th?
February 20th, 46.
1946.
Okay.
And we got tired to looking to the German space, and we have decided to leave Germany.
We went in a kibbutz.
So we went to a kibbutz,
There was a kibbutz.
and
And he
the
was a madriach,
What's up, Andrea?
you know,
leader.
a leader.
And oh yeah,
And we went aboard, we had to cross a border. Wie heißen the mountains?
We
They're
went
the
to
biggest
Austria.
mountain.
and from Austria we had to cross to Italy. Usually,
No.
usually the commanders, the Jewish brigade,
You know.
saw to it we shall be able to pass the border to Italy and go straight.
And
At that time it did not work. They did not let us through. So we had to
Gambia,
by ourselves cross the
to cross the
mountain
border illegally.
illegally,
Why did you want to go to Italy?
because there
From
are
there to
no
go to
Germans
Israel.
there.
From
And-
there we had to go to Israel.
From there, there was a possibility to go to Palestine.
Then was it Palestine?
There
not
was
Israel.
a illegal immigration at that time to Palestine.
Yeah.
See, if you went into a boat, at the start, the English let you through, but afterwards they did not, and they sent you to Cyprus. So, in the middle of the mountain, it was very slippery, and I almost fall down.
And there,
So
look here.
my Golda held me for the hand,
Mhm.
and Uncle Leah pushed with his hand,
Caught him by the
hold
finger,
my
otherwise
feet,
he would fall
and this is the
down.
way I dragged up.
In a lot of people, I made 4 or 5 people died.
People fall down and died.
It was in
And
the
that's
winter
mine.
time,
It
right?
what?
It was in the winter.
Yeah.
It was in
In the,
it was in December
In December.
46,
In December.
and we came soon. We came over on the other side, so soon we was in Italy, so they wouldn't send you back.
yeah.
How did you sleep?
We went in.
Well, how long did it
they
take to
had-
go over
we
the
had
mountain?
also camps.
It wasn't. It didn't. Well, how long it
A
takes?
day? 2 days?
No, I think it took us a couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks.
Where did you sleep at night?
Outside.
Did you have any blankets?
No, you have no blankets. You have nothing with you.
We was in
How did we slept this 6 year during the war? You think you got something? You slept. You ate. You slept. It's a,
Yeah, but you know,
you.
here you don't see it in the state. We have little things what it calls lies.
Lice.
Lies.
Oh,
You
they
know
have
what
it.
is?
Yeah.
You don't see it here.
You see,
Only poor people.
how do
have
the
it here,
this
yeah.
the homeless people live in New York, in San Francisco, in Los Angeles, in Chicago? How do they live? They live. They don't have nothing.
But
Well-
some of them die from the cold.
Well, of course, a lot of them die.
You see that less.
But
big-
whoever lives through, lives through. That's all. So is everything else. So was it with us. Yeah, when we came to Italy, I started to work as a librarian.
Mm-hmm.
No library.
I worked there for a while, and then a man was the manager of
Of the camp, of the.
a manager of a tailor shop. We made clothes for the refugees.
Mm-hmm.
This is
for our
in-
people.
So he
This
told
is in
me I shall
Murray?
give him $5. He's going away. I shall give him $5, and he'll recommend me as the manager.
As the manager in the factory.
So I said I never was a tailor. I don't know what it means being a tailor.
These pictures with the sewing machines from those days? Here and here?
Yeah, this I work for the American Army.
No, not for old. For old you worked. Old.
No, this all. This is the sicher gearbeitet for the American.
Okay.
Just a minute, I show you. You see, we need, not so, we need.
knit.
So this is different than when you were the tailor, huh?
This is not a tailor.
Okay.
Oh,
Where's this?
This, I work
For old.
for old.
For who?
You see,
Old,
there
this
is
is an organization which
even
teach you a trade.
Exist now too. Old.
It's all over the world. It's a Jewish organization.
Yeah, but
All
this
over.
this picture, this is I worked there was a group was we worked for the American people.
Okay.
For the
Anyway.
soldiers. I make sweaters, you know.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so I was afraid to take the job because I don't know. Anyway, I said I'll give him if I'll be accepted. So they called me to Rome, to the head, to the main office.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a Bulgarian Jew by the name of Dr. Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
So I was proposed by that other fellow. So he said, okay. He accepted me. I can be I said I never was a tailor. I don't know what a needle is and what thread is.
Mm-hmm.
So he said like this, if you'll get tailors, and if the buttons
It was
will not be in the back,
Yeah.
and the hanger of the coat will not be in the front of the coat,
Yeah.
you are tailor.
you know, he had a
So I got a job as a manager for that tailor shop,
Yeah.
and Goldie worked there as a tailor, and Leo worked there as a bookkeeper.
The whole
So
family.
we all three had jobs,
Did we make how many dollars?
and
$5?
I didn't know nothing English. I was dependent on the director from the camp.
Mm-hmm.
So he told me if I need something, Dr. Fisher told me if I need something, I shall go into the camp director. He's supposed to give me. So I went into him with a list that I needed cotton, I need buttons, I need this, I need that. I needed certain things. I gave him the list. So he said, oh, okay. It was the assistant director. He was an Australian. I said, I gave him the list. He said, okay.
He didn't know what means
So,
okay.
okay, I thought he'll give me money to go to town and buy the things. So I was waiting.
You know who it is?
Well, go on. Finish the story.
Let him finish.
I was waiting. So through his teeth, he told me, okay. I didn't know what he wanted. So there was, in that office was a woman from London. She worked for ORT, for the American Joint Distribution Committee.
Mm-hmm.
She told me the director told you, okay, what else you want? I say, so where's the money? So she explained to me, when he said okay, it means he is sending somebody to town, he buy the things and he'll bring it to you. And this is the way how it was. And then I needed tailors, so he gave me a mic. I was not ready, but he gave me a mic and told me, go on the mic and call people, whoever wants to work.
Who's a tailor?
So without prepared, so I called people, whoever wants to work there, a shop opens will come in, and I had 22 tailors and pressers and cutters.
And it was
a big factory.
A man who was a real good tailor. He managed.
He was the man. He managed the production. I managed the business, but he managed the production, and it worked. It was very good.
It was very good.
Then was people who wanted to steal. So he wanted to take away from me the job. They shall have it, and they'll steal away the coats and so on, the material, what I got from Rome. And so one of them, a Hungarian, went to Rome, to Dr. Schipper, and he talked on me so much, terrible, to take away my job. But it didn't help him, I think. He just threw him out and he told me to work. Then he called me, he told me he sent out a truck with merchandise. I shall be there and pick it up and put it in the
factory.
It shall be, people shall not take it away.
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't know the people, you didn't know what's going on. I was waiting until 11 o'clock at night, until that truck came in.
Mm-hmm.
I got it in. And we was okay until they evacuated that place. You're getting tired of me already.
No.
And they sent us to another town on the sea. What's the name of this? Caspian Sea?
Bari, you went to?
Is it Caspian Sea?
Well, it's Adriatic.
Adriatic, that's right. On the Adriatic, right. We lived 50 people in one big room, divided by, how you call this? You cover yourself with blankets,
Yeah.
And until they call us to Naples, this is the way how we lived there from 46 until 50. In 50, they call us to the American consul in Naples.
Mm-hmm.
You had to be healthy in order to pass by the consul.
Visa.
In Germany, the main thing is there was a political committee, but in Italy we didn't have it. We had only the consul who looked. So we came in there. That consul asked you, according to me, a very stupid question. He showed you a white on white page with a number. What is this? I said 3. Then he showed you another page. What is this? I said 6. Pest. Yeah, but we was afraid. People said they wouldn't let you through. They wouldn't let you. We went in. This was in Bari. We lived in that time in Bari a little. Mm-hmm. It's not a little town. It's a big town. This is near Sicily somewhere. Mm-hmm. So I went to an Italian professor, a doctor, a professor, very old man, but such a good man. He came in there. He spoke to us in German. When we told him the story that we are afraid, we got to go to Naples, and we are afraid that we wouldn't get the visa because we're afraid of health and so on. Mm-hmm. He checked us out very carefully, and he said, if this consul, the American, if this idiot will not give you the visa, I'll throw him out of Italy.
Well, that's good. So you were going to Italy I mean, when you're going to the United States, you're going to visit our relatives in Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, they picked that up.
they picked us up. So they're on this picture. What I'm going to do is I'm going to.
No, but
No.
They're
we
not on here?
we don't have pictures of that.
No.
Yeah, you have somebody there. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, on this picture
You hold it up. You tell me who on the screen. We'll hold it up and you tell me
Yes,
which
but I
one.
will.
Neem ons te doen.
Wemen ons te doen. What's it?
De namen spugen dus op de gassen.
No.
Zijn gassen.
No.
This is a wedding.
No, you have nobody.
Here you
We don't
go.
have. We
Oh,
don't have.
oh, well,
pictures
nice
for
try.
them. We don't have.
I thought these were. Okay, so one last question.
Yeah.
Why didn't you go to Israel?
Well,
Because
there's a,
my sister. You
well,
see, we sent all the
this is
things to Israel.
this is our own fault, and we
We're very sorry.
sorry why we did not went to
I'm
Israel. This
so
is the whole
sorry
truth.
for the
This was our ego, because it was very hard financially there.
In
There
Israel?
was no
In my
almost no bread there.
In my
And
city.
it came in a half a million refugees, and they have there the secretary of the interior was Dov Yosef one.
Mhm.
They had no bread there. It was very poor situation.
And also a war was just starting.
And the war started, and we wanted to go there. So once when I was in Italy, I also studied how to work,
Network with a machine to make sweaters.
how to make sweaters.
Mm-hmm.
I have
So I bought a
pictures.
machine, how to make sweaters and to go to Israel. But Goldie's sister,
Sarah.
one letter she wrote to us, we shall come straight there.
She still
But
had
she
meat for
wrote
us.
in that letter that she bought a pound of calf
No,
meat.
breast of veal. And she
Breast.
still keep it when we come.
And when we come, she'll make a party, and she has that meat. In a letter, maybe 2 months later, we still had about that pound of meat that she has on the ice box. When we'll come, we'll have the party with that pound. So we understood her story.
But
And
later she
afterwards, she wrote a plane that we have always time to come to
told me,
there.
Israel is
We
a
shall go.
home, and
We-
your mother will let you always in. Also, Israel is our mother.
We shall go around. That means we shall go through America to Israel.
Yeah.
And this is the way
Because
how-
America lets you in now and they maybe not later, but Israel will always let you in.
That's
Yeah.
right. Well, we got the visa in Naples, and they put us on train to Bremenhaven. And from Bremenhaven, we boarded the General Clark,
General Black.
General Black,
What's the name of the
Black.
ship?
General Black ship, and 14 days we was on the sea.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people, all Jews, or
No, not all Jews. There was Ukrainians and all kinds of Europeans who was looking, but this was the ones who hated Russia, and they ran from Russia,
Mhm.
and they was looking for immigration, so they came to United States, to Canada, to Australia.
So, and 14 days later, you saw the Statue of Liberty.
And 14 days later, we saw the Statue of Liberty,
We came
and the Jewish organization
Mm-hmm.
gave us $30. For the $30, we had to buy train tickets from New York Harbor to Baltimore,
Mm-hmm.
and a few dollars on the way. And soon we came to Baltimore. Our relatives waited for us, and within a couple of weeks, I got a bill for the $30, which we paid them back.
Yeah, we came to that.
Okay.
And we started our journey in the United States. It was not easy. It was a very hard journey,
Mm-hmm. I bet.
very hard fight. But